You can stop there. Come on this side of the property line, you're trespassing. So, no, you could, hey, if you don't want to do your job, that's fine. Because I'm going to tell you this, if they walk out of there, I'm calling the FBI for federal investigation charges on you and them because they're not Jaguar Communications LLC. I understand. I just said that you're not allowed on my property. I'm
trying to listen to you, Dan.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. What you did yesterday was violate my constitutional rights, my civil rights, and my human rights. And you have not ever enforced anything equally. Because you ask me for my ID, you ask me for all sorts of shit. I give you guys all the stuff that I need to give you in order to trespass Metronet off my property.
What have I done with that stuff, Dan? I've reported it and I've forwarded it to where it needs to go.
The problem is that the law is not being upheld equally.
And those decisions are made above my head, and I've explained that.
And here's the thing. The law says if there's any property dispute, which they just filed, Jaguar just filed, an appeal today, means that they can't take anything out of here because they don't know what's rightfully theirs. And Metronet is not Jaguar.
Okay.
And so that...
I'm just going to tell you this. I have an email from our attorney that just listen. I'll let you get your piece out.
Yes, sir.
That says Jaguar and Metronet are effectively the same thing. That's how I have to interpret that. I know you disagree with
unfortunately, the state law under 322D says otherwise, and they're in violation of it, and you're a peace officer, and you're telling me that you're not going to uphold this law.
I'm telling you.
Is that what you're I want a yes or a no. I just described to you a statute of which they're violating right now.
I'm telling you, Dan, right now, I can only go off of what I've been informed to do from the sheriff and from the attorney's office.
But did you take an oath to uphold the law?
Yes, I did take an oath.
So, did I just not specify a law of which they're breaking?
Okay. And
this
is a civil matter.
It's a criminal matter if they walk off this.
And if they are breaking the law,
if they walk off this property, because here's the issue. They won't identify themselves, so I have no idea of who's in there, what they're in my property for.
And what I see here now is I have a Metronet truck, I have Metronet employees with Metronet on their
right
head.
there, they're taking a whole bunch of equipment out of my building that was mounted and installed. And under the state statute, that is now theft. And now it's considered grand theft, and I'm already...
How do you want me to interpret the fact that the court order says they can take the personal property?
It says Jaguar, not Metronet.
And
there's
again,
not a single...
we go back to Metronet and Jaguar.
Then it's
I'm supposed to take as the same people. I get that
you don't have to take the same people. What you're being told is a lie, and they can fight it in court as far as who they really are. And that's where it needs to be. They need to quit taking my shit off my property. And Joe Meyer needs to get the hell away from here, because if he steps foot over here, I am going to arrest him again under citizen's arrest for... Oh, nice job. You know what? I'm going to take that video of you jacking off to my fucking video, and I'm going to make sure that everybody knows about that. There's nobody going to be on my property taking any more shit out of here, because they won't identify who they are. Because I, by law, have the right, because it's my property. You've seen that in the order. This is my property. Because I have property rights, under my human rights, I do have the right to know who enters and exits my property. They have failed to identify, and asking who they are is not interference by Black Law's dictionary.
I never said you interfered with them.
Your attorneys, the county attorney, said they can do whatever they want. The problem is they have to identify what they're doing on my property, who they are, and what process that they're doing. That is my right as a property owner. You guys have taken that away because you said I can't step foot on my property because you're interpreting, or your county attorney is interpreting, that that is part of a TRO, which it is not. Your county attorney does not have the right to add to something that isn't there. And unfortunately, the court order says the same thing. It does not give anybody else but Jaguar Communications LLC any permission whatsoever on my property. There's not a single Jaguar Communications LLC person here. Period.
And I would agree. I don't see any Jaguar anywhere.
So now,
but because it's Metronet,
I
don't
care who they're saying they are. They're not, and you just proved my point. There's not a Jaguar Communication employee here.
I don't see any Jaguar emblems anywhere.
Exactly.
Right.
So that is what the court orders for.
Owns Jaguar are part of it, and I am told
it doesn't matter at that point.
Jaguar and Metronet are the same thing.
The order was for Jaguar. Okay. And I need to identify anybody and everybody that comes onto my property, what they're doing, and what authority do they have to be on my property.
So
names?
So the order states that they have 30 days to move their personal property out, right?
Yes, but there's a dispute in that, and that's already been filed. That was what the appellate court filing today was. And so therefore, since there is now a confusion of what's personal property, all property is meant to be on the property until the dispute is done.
Here's what I'm going to be. Here's where I'm at. You want answers and you want decisions being made that are above my head.
You are preventing me from doing something that is rightfully allowed by the law for me to do.
What's that?
To know who comes on and off my property and to protect my property. You're prohibiting me from my property. You said if I go over there, you're going to arrest me, which you don't have the authority to. That's why I'm not allowing you on my property.
I told you that the attorney of Steele County informed us that if you are within that easement, while the TRO is still in place,
the problem
for
is
the 30 days, which I believe is coming up tomorrow, Thursday, whatever that is, that he would interpret that.
He doesn't have the right to interpret that.
The county would say that that is a violation of you interfering and of a violation of the TRO, which would then be an obstruction charge.
However,
which then says I shall arrest. Yes.
The problem with that is that violates my civil rights of owning that property.
That's where you would have to take that to court.
But see, now you're saying I've got to take this to court, but you're letting them go?
They have to take it to court too.
Then,
they have to take things to court as well.
Then why are you letting them take shit off of my property? Because they're
supposed to be able to remove personal property.
Metronet is not. Metronet is not a named party in the order.
Here we are back at the same position.
And again,
I get your frustration.
No, you don't get it.
I do. I get what you're saying. I can't make that determination. That is above my head. I can't make that decision, Dan. I wish I could. I wish I could fix all this and make this go away because it's a pain in everyone's butt. I get that, but I can't make that decision. There's a judge and there's two attorneys at the top of this right now.
Yes, however,
they have to make decisions.
I am an attorney.
The sheriff and our attorney that tell us this is how we have to.
Yes, but I am representing myself, which gives me the same power as an attorney, and I'm telling you, they are not Jaguar Communications LLC.
You are representing yourself, and
I am an attorney
and I
under
have to go
under the law.
What the Steele County attorney is saying with the sheriff.
Yes, I understand that you have to
go off of what
but you also have an oath to uphold the law, right?
Correct.
So now you're violating the law by what your superior says you're supposed to do. Caleb, I really like you, right? On a personal level, I do like you because you do your job. However, right now, I don't feel you're doing your job. And the reason why I don't feel like you're doing your job is because the enforcement of a civil matter is supposed to be fair and equitable under the law. And that is not what's happening, because fair and equitable would mean that none of us go into that building. And that's not being upheld because it's disputed what is what, correct?
I believe you guys all think it's differently, yeah.
Correct. So since there's a dispute, under the law, the way the law is written, and if you want me to get the statute, I will get you the statute which defines this, that it must be handled fairly amongst all parties. And fairly would be that they can't enter it and I can't enter it until a judge orders.
And that's where the only thing I have from a judge says that they have 30 days to remove the property.
Is not the correct term. It only lists Jaguar.
30 days.
Jaguar Communications LLC is the only named party. Metronet LLC out of Delaware is not a named party. What is this that you don't understand?
I understand it clearly.
So again, how is this being so unfairly justified? That somebody that's not named on a lawsuit is now have unjust enrichment and stealing grand theft up to $2.2 million worth of equipment out of my building without a court order to do so. Because that name right there does not say Jaguar Communications LLC. That's what the judgment was for, not Metronet. And I don't care on how many times they want to stick Metronet in it. When the judge made her order, it was very, very clear. The plaintiff. And the only word on that whole thing that identifies a plaintiff on that court order is Jaguar Communications LLC. Nobody in law enforcement is allowed to add anything to that court order. That is a state statute. So now I'm going to ask you again, why are you unfairly enforcing a court order that you don't have any jurisdiction to allow a third party unidentified person or company in this matter onto my property?
I'm sorry you feel like it's unfair. I am enforcing and not enforcing what I am told to enforce and not to enforce the way I can. This is a civil matter.
So you're telling me,
I can't do it.
So let me explain this. Because I think I need to make sure that we're both on the same page. You're telling me I have to let an unnamed entity onto my parcel of land. Is that what you're telling me?
No. I'm saying that you need to apply, to abide by the court order.
The court order.
What I am told from the attorney.
That's not what the court order says, and that's where the problem is. And until
Dan, you're a very smart guy, and you're very good at words and the semantics of things and the specificity of things, and I get that, and I appreciate that.
The problem is that there's nobody that gives a shit about my rights.
I care.
It
doesn't seem like I do, but I do. That's why I take everything you tell me and I document it, and I make sure that you have that document, and I make sure that
I do appreciate the email with the stuff I asked for.
I do care. But I can't go beyond what I'm being told by the sheriff and the attorney.
None of them will have any conversation with me. The only time I got to talk to Robert Jarrett was yesterday on the phone when your other deputy had him on the phone. That was the only time I was able to talk to him because he won't take my call. Lon Thiele won't actually come out here and have any conversation with me because he thinks this is just a goddamn joke. I am sorry. I have little faith as far as the sheriff institution in Steele County, because when I point out very clear-cut laws, and when I say clear-cut, laws that are intended to be black and white and have zero interpretation. Officer discretion is a company or is a corporate policy, which Steele County has one, but that's not what the letter of the law says. And if you guys want to circumvent the letter of the law when I am trying to protect my rights, that is a problem. I am not interfering. The word interfering, according to the Black Laws Dictionary, is for me to physically stop them from doing something. Asking for their name and documenting what they're doing, what they're taking, to the nth degree, like that whole case of shit that they just took out. How do you know what's in there? How do you know that wasn't mounted in there? How do you know what model numbers or serial numbers there are? You don't. And you just allowed them to walk off my property with zero documentation. And by the way, documentation also is not a violation of interference under any circumstances. Because do you know what the Black Laws Dictionary is? That is the definitions of which lawyers have to abide by those particular definitions. So when you say the word interference, interference is in the Black Laws Dictionary, and it gives a very finite definition of what is accepted by the judicial system of what that word means. It's not open to interpretation. Do you understand what I'm getting at as far as...
I get what you're saying.
So, when the Black Laws Dictionary gives me a definition, and I have an attorney that I had talked to yesterday when you trespassed me and ordered me off of my own property, because if I didn't, you were going to arrest me under the authority of the city attorney or the county attorney. You just, as an officer, you violated my rights. I don't want to blame this on you. You're trying to do your job and follow orders. I get it. But the actions that you did yesterday violated my rights.
And I'm sorry you feel that way.
It's not the way that I feel. It's the law.
And if you need to take that to court, I will gladly testify to what I told you.
I understand
we can bring that up.
My problem is that
that's why I came to you and I told you and I explained things.
I understand.
Coming up to you and arresting you.
I understand.
I want to give you every opportunity.
But this is the reason why I was instructed that you guys are not allowed on my property, because I don't want to feel threatened under arrest on my own property.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I get it. You don't want us on your property because you feel like that's a threat to arresting you.
When you're coming onto my property with the intent to arrest me,
okay,
which is what the intent was if I did not comply with what you asked me to,
okay,
that is what I don't want.
Okay. So then why was this like this today?
Because I was informed, again, by my constitutional attorney,
okay, that
says that we have to have a separation right now.
Okay. But you called us.
Correct.
So
Because
I come to you to see what you need.
However, coming to me to see what I need can be done this way.
Okay.
Your side of the line, my side of the line. Do you understand? We can still converse, right?
Sounds good. So moving forward for today, I'm going to be honest, because I'm honest with you the whole time. I am not and cannot tell them what they can and can't take out. I understand that.
So again, I got to make sure that I am understanding this correct. Metronet LLC out of Delaware is allowed to take shit out of my property, correct?
Metronet
LLC. No. I didn't. Don't add to what I asked.
This Metronet people here that are
LLC
working with the Metronet uniforms are allowed to comply with that court order that they have 30 days.
Can you show me a piece of paper that gives Metronet the authority to do so? Because I don't see one.
I don't have any of that with me. All I have is emails.
All I
have is emails and documentation from the attorney that says.
So until I have something from an attorney or from the judge that gives Metronet LLC to be on my property, they're not allowed on my property.
I will right now go and get in contact with the attorney and have them send you a document that says we see Metronet and Jaguar as the same thing.
And it better have every legal statute that gives Metronet the same rights as Jaguar Communications LLC. Because if there's one thing that's missing in there, it's not an official document. Because
I'm going to go send an email. I'm going to attach you to it. I'm going to attach Rob to it. And I'll attach the sheriff to it. And I'll say that you are requesting documentation or from them.
Because just so you're aware,
they can do this same thing.
Just so you're aware, I've already contacted the Secretary of State. And the Secretary of State has already confirmed Metronet LLC is a different entity than Jaguar Communications LLC when it comes to the Secretary of State. And that is a state office. So unless you guys have something that circumvents a state office, that's already what's on file. So I'm just giving you.
I will go send that email before I leave. So, is there anything else you would like requested from?
I want names of anybody who's on this. I want a log of who's on here.
Okay.
Because it is my property, and I have a right to know who's on my property and what they're doing.
Have you asked any of them if
they all ignore me.
Okay. I will ask.
Because I want to know when they come on, when they go off, and what they did.
Okay. I will go ask them.
Because it is my property, and I have the right to know that. Okay.
I'll go ask them.
Okay.
I'll go ask them right now. Okay. Is there anything else?
That's the best I can do, because I'm already going to turn this in as a criminal complaint. Because
it's nothing personal. I understand. So.
And like I said, I mean, I hate this being you.
Agreed. I get what you. I get it. I don't take it personally. Don't worry about it. So I will talk to them, and then I'll send an email before I leave. You'll have it here within.
Well, before they go back on there, I want to have that email. I want the order that the legal.
Let me go send the email real quick, and then I'll go talk to them about getting the log.
Okay.